the person start to bush it down and such like, and I hear about it and I jump at it. The land is not personal mine, but I bought piece of the land, and in endorsement of title, I began to pay my own taxes and everything and the other piece, and I stopped paying taxes for the whole entire thing. And here is it, I'm all a man ready to capture it right away. And I had to go and put up a nose on it and object
yes, but Daddy, may I agree with you on that, but here what happened? Squatting become institutionalized and promoted by Michael Manley and the PMP. That's the root of the matter.
If you have it that way,
no, just a moment.
If you have it that way, I won't be if I make a point that I don't know. I know
Yes,
it was green land lease. I know
It started with land lease.
Common sense to do this.
Yes.
Common sense, please. Let us not take this. Both political party have used squatting as a voting bank. We are not going to do this. We are not going to do this. Siaga give water and light to Bakawal people. What he was doing? What he was doing? When him give them light and water, we're not going to do this now. We are not going to do this. Oh.
And most recently, the way they roll matter. The way they roll. They put them.
Regardless of what you guys gonna tell me, everybody, listen, everybody know that squatting is a PMP trademark.
Speaking to his personal situation, Michael Manley.
Both political parties have done this. You must not do that.
It started under the PMP.
Tell them how you bought your land and how you
They promoted. No, PMP actually promoted it, because even in this case that we are here discussing, right? Even after they lost the case, right? PMP was still trying to keep the squatters down at Trelawney. That's the point I'm talking, and they lied to them.
But
they lied to them.
Hold on. No, but wait, guys, wait. Hold on a second. So, common sense. You see,
Jordan, you're not getting what I'm saying.
Hold on. No. Wait. Let me just.
Where they encourage squatting. That's all I'm saying. Let me make that clear.
Absolutely.
Fine. You know what?
That's garbage.
You know what? For your
that is not correct common sense.
No.
Hold on.
No.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Hold on. All right. So, because you see, I don't really.
The history there can't change it, you know.
This is one thing I'd say to PMP people, is not to really be bothered by a statement like that. Because you see, the truth about it is, what common sense, at least from what I'm understanding from what you're saying, is that PMP has always tried to give people land.
The squatting, yeah, they promote squatting. Yeah,
no,
number one.
No, hold on. So you see, because squatting now is not a Jamaican.
And that is why you hear these PMP guys telling you that squatting is not illegal.
No, wait.
Everybody hold on. Who says squatting is illegal?
Hold on now.
Who?
Guys,
remember, I said I was going to outline why squatting is illegal. You remember I made that very clear?
No, TC was here arguing that squatting is not illegal, sir.
Who said that?
TC, he was up here saying that it's not.
TC is misguided because squatting is illegal.
All right, guys, hold on. You see, as in, I'm laughing because I know we all have to do the whole political thing and the back and forth, and well, PMP did this and that, but I don't think we're you see, it's 64 years as of what, last Thursday was it? And yet to this day we still don't actually have a secured, smooth, people-centric type of system that ensures our people get the essential access, meaning to land, to education, to healthcare, to food, to accessible water, to accessible energy. All of these things are essential. And if we look at what they say in terms of environmental laws, you are supposed to ensure that people have a secured environment that protects their life overall, right? And so those things are essential to that environment. you look at the whole idea of democracy, and we always hear about it from either side and in the political world and so on. Well, democracy, in terms of democratic values, would suggest that we also provide those things to people so that we ensure they have the adequate ability to live. Then you look at just the circumstance that our Prime Minister himself, and I think we all know this, and we all know it's been historically this, we do not have affordable housing, nor land, nor anything at this point. So in terms of what we consider illegal and what we consider unlawful and what we consider unjust laws based on circumstances, I think we have to start having those conversations a little better, because yes, one might say, okay, fine, it's unlawful to squat, which technically is not, because to get adverse possession for the 12 years or for the 60-year period, you would have to squat to begin with. So technically, by that standard, it is not illegal. If you were to be removed,
it is illegal, and I'm going to prove it. Technically,
no, there's no technically it is illegal. There's a part that does have a technicality that it would be illegal, but at the same time, to get adverse possession, to get the 12-year period, you would have to squat. You would have to take possession of a piece of land, whether private or public, to get the 12 years or the 60 years, and therefore you would have to squat. Now,
when you're finished, I'm going to outline why it is illegal. When you're finished.
Yes, Trevor, I don't need you to tell me when I'm finished. I need you to just allow me to finish. But when you get the opportunity to, as you would say, common sense, to just squat, we have to then try and understand, one, the racial and colonial connotation behind that word, just the same as lazy, just the same as people know our work, just the same as any other type of term that we all know what they stand for and what they represent, which is a way in which we speak down to others or speak to them as if they are less than, or declare them as less than, when in fact, if the system was done properly, meaning that the politics didn't get into play and both this person and that person and everybody did their part as leaders throughout our history from then till now, then more than likely you would not have much squatting. You would have more legality to it. You would have more trust towards the government. You would have a lot more of what we are asking for. But you see that it's one thing to keep saying, okay, well, we need, laws are laws and rules are rules, and we need things to be this way and we need things to be better. But if we can clearly acknowledge that there has not been enough tools or equipment to make things better for people, then why are we still asking them to maintain a standard that we are not even able to maintain as leaders? That is what I would ask our leadership, is if you're going to tell people don't squat, make housing so affordable that the man who is working 1 hour a week, which they love to take such touting and praise for their unemployment rate, which includes people who work for 1 hour per week.
1 second, Jordan. It's not
can buy a piece of land today.
Jordan, it's not everybody
so
can own a home.
That him, no, common sense. You see, that's the problem. If you're gonna make a promise on a political platform, you are not promising just your voters, you are promising the entire country that. Otherwise, you don't take taxes from the entire country. You see, this is another problem that I find common sense, is that you want to determine how people must demand for their tax dollar. And that's what it's not fair to keep doing that. You can have your views of how you can live your life and how your citizenship works. But where it concerns anybody else's, where it concerns their tax dollar, do you understand that a man values his money based on the amount of time and energy he puts in to get it? And so therefore,
Jordan,
if he sees his taxes just going to nothing, and he sees his people going to nothing, he's going to want some sort of drastic change in terms of leadership, not because of his people, because I can't keep blaming people.
Jordan, you're talking in parables. Try and speak clearly.
No.
Nobody complain what you're trying to say.
I'm addressing all of this, Ingram. And you see, this is the thing.
You're not coming clear.
You don't need to interrupt.
Sorry.
Ingram, you don't need to interrupt. Because you see, I'm addressing a lot of it because I'm addressing what common sense is saying, but I'm also addressing what common sense is doing. Because what common sense is doing is spewing that very same bigotry, that very same hate, that very same disregard.
No, don't say that.
And
sir.
it is
Don't
a
say
very
that.
big part of the but it is a very big part of the foundation.
Don't say that.
A very big part of the foundation as to why we're here.
All I'm saying is that
certain people
squatting become a culture in Jamaica
guided and understood about the system and why
highlight when it started.
Are constantly stepped on by the system.
Mute his mic.
Just maybe one day you could take the time. You see, and you know what's worse? I've grown up through my life hearing people say, all right, you're privileged, you're uptown, whatever. And I say, you know what, fine, I am. But I've also grown up having black people treat me with a lot of respect too. You know what I have not grown up to see? A lot of black people treating a lot of other black people with the right respect that they deserve. And I'm tired of it because it's just, even how you call them squatters, but you don't call tourists who stay longer than they're supposed to squatters. You don't call uptown squatters when them get a piece of land for cheap. You don't call the elite class squatters when them get a piece of land for free based on the notion of development. And you don't understand how that just pushes the system to just keep cycling and cycling, one black man after another. You want the whole squatting thing to change, which, fine. If you want everybody to follow a level of order, I get that. But then why not just say, hey, you know what? We have not done the right thing.
You need to cut out this squatting.
Leadership, no, but then you see leadership, and this is the thing I would say to Andrew. You go and sit down over there, so after you give out one house, Andrew saying giving out one house per week from what I understand. One house. Andrew had a promise for 70,000 houses, 70,000 houses, and him don't go on more than 23.
You know what happened? This is where both governments...
No, it don't matter what happens, common sense.
No, what I'm trying to say...
No, it don't matter what happens, because guess what? You see, when it concerns the winning of September 3rd, the third term, 1 p.m., whenever I've heard anybody complain for the last 10 months, you know what I've heard? 1 p.m., fourth term loading, this and that and your mama, and whatever. And I say, you know what, fine, no problem. We no election, we no happy. Now, when it concerns donated money and money borrowed on people's backs, that can't get to people. Where it concerns the same affordable housing that we're supposed to be working on for the last 10 years because Andrew did promise to hold it, that's not working, which means...
Jordan, let me point out something to you.
To prevent
that problem,
the capturing of land.
That problem you're talking about is
question. How do we expect at least...
If PMP had fixed that problem over the last 18 years...
fine. PMP didn't fix the problem. They were the worst in history. But now we have JLP for the last 10 years. So why is it for the last 10 years, after promising affordable housing, which if people had affordable housing based on their salaries and based on their employment, which is what they tout themselves on behalf of their unemployment rate. That is what Andrew said, the 3.9 unemployment rate or whatever it is. Well, what is the point of having that unemployment rate if half of them people, they can't buy nothing? If none of them people, they can't buy a house.
Jordan, can I make a quick point?
No, Dr. Russell, I hold the government to a higher standard. I hold the tax-paying collector.
Jordan, can I make a quick insertion? Can I make a quick because we are also to bear in mind that a lot of these persons, it's a possibility that some of these individuals may have been contributors to the NHT, and the NHT is failing them, and then the government on top of it is also failing them. So what do you expect these people to do? What do you expect them to do?
I just want to bring to your attention, Jordan, that in this country today in this country, the Supreme Court, the appeal court has just thrown out a request by the Prime Minister to stop the affidavit from 1998 pertaining to his financial affairs. And the report that was shown the other day show some $700 million going to interbanking and intercompanies accounts. To date, there's no clear explanation how these funds were acquired. Is that some form of also, I don't know if you call it squatting, but is that some form of funds in your position you don't account for it? That's the country we're living in today. This is the Jamaica we're living in today. This is the life we are living today with the head of state. Don't ever forget that in any conversation we're having. Don't forget that. Thank you very much.
Hi, Jordan. May I say something? Good afternoon, good evening.
Yeah, Michelle and then Janelle, I'd like you to go next. Or rather, actually, Michelle and then Common Sense and then Janelle.
I just wanted to give you some context on this whole Cooper's Pen and what's going on. Actually in dialogue with one of the sons, I just can't say much because they're still trying to get their father's property. This let me break this down a little bit for you as short as much as I can.
Do you mind me sharing the son's name?
No, not? I can't. I'm not supposed to. I can't. Okay. I'm sorry. I was sworn to secrecy in a way because, like I said, it's still in court. So I don't. What he said to me is not. He didn't say much. It's not worth repeating. But
this is one of the sons of Jobson.
One of the sons of Mr. Jobson. Let me give you a little context about what is taking place here. First of all, the people on the property were not squatters. Okay, their father. There are generations of persons on that land. The generation goes over 50 odd years. Okay, Mr. Jobson gave them permission to live on the property. Okay, now let me give you some context first about what is really going on with Cooper's Pen, so you understand. In 1967, Edward Siaga, Hugh Lawson Shearer, and just for context, you can go and research this yourself because the information is there. All right.
All right, but where can I locate?
I'm gonna tell you where. You need to go on
Well, as in I know about some of it, but I just want to have as much information to locate.
Okay. Go and research Edward Siaga and the New Falmouth Project, and Edward Siaga and the Phelan family from Texas here in the United States. What happened is Mr. Siaga had an idea about a global tourism village, okay, outside of Ocho Rios and outside of Montego Bay. All right. So this village, this global village, was titled the New Falmouth Project. Okay. This project required over 1,000 acres of land in Jamaica. All right. The whole initiative of the project was to feature. It was to be an international village complex, and it was designed to feature distinct areas representing global countries and cultures. The countries that would have been involved in this project were Jamaica, Japan, England, France, Switzerland, India, and regions of Africa. Okay. So for this project, they needed an investor. This is where the Phelan family in Texas came in. Okay. Mr. Siaga reached out to the family because it's a wealthy family in Texas. One of the sons actually sit as a representative for the Republican Party. All right.
Is that Dade Phelan?
Dade Phelan, exactly. All right. So they were supposed to be the investors for this project. All right. So what they did in order to secure the land, here, this is where James Chisholm come in, okay? So they reached out to James Chisholm because let me explain to you, the project itself, the idea itself was formulated in 1967 going on into 1968. In 1968, Hugh Shearer as prime minister, he actually broke ground for the project in 1968, okay? So the Phelan family, they got in touch with James Chisholm. I don't know if they had a relationship before. They got in touch with James Chisholm. So James Chisholm's job was to acquire the 1,000 acres of land in Jamaica for the family and for Mr. Seaga. All right. This is where the Jobson property comes in. I don't know how he found out about the property. I don't know how that went. But anyway, here comes the Jobson property. So what happened was when Mr. Jobson, according to them, but I heard that there was a will, but the circumstances as to what happened to the will is part of what is taking place in court presently. So anyway, they there's a Mr. Cecil Abrams who was the go-between who was supposed to be the go-between between Mr. Chisholm and Mr. Jobson. All right. So anyway, Mr. Jobson died in 1980. When Mr. Jobson died, his children, except for one was 12 years old. All the rest were minors. So when he died, the job for that the Administrator General should have done when she was appointed in December, because he died in May 1980. She was appointed Administrator General over the property in December of 1980. Okay.
Repeat the name of the Administrator General.
They didn't give a name. None of the court records gave a name. They just refer to the Administrator General as her.
I've been trying to find the name for the last.
I have to, and for whatever reason.
I know
and this
Lorna Gooding or something like that is the one now.
I saw
it's not the same one.
No, I don't think, for some reason, and this is what tells you that there is more to this story than just up and down and sideways. It goes all kind of ways, because there has to be a reason why the name of the Administrator General is not in any of the court records, none of the court records. Yeah. So anyway,
I searched far and wide.
All right. So anyway, her job when she became appointed as Administrator General, her job was to put in the paper or gazette, whatever you call it, that if there are any living family members, if there's anybody that he owes money, whatever, they should contact her. Some way she found out that he had the kids. Now, her job as Administrator General, seeing that the kids were minor, was to put the property in a trust for the kids until they got to the age, where they could legally obtain their father's property. That was not done. Anyway, when the kids became older and the kids tried to take control of their father's property, they realized that New Falmouth, which is the Chisholm's company, had a claim on the property. So when they went to the Administrator General's office to try to figure out what was going on, they were told by the Administrator General that they waited for 30 years. They waited too long, because they waited for 30 years after their father died before they tried to get his property. So in other words, the property no longer belonged to them. The family, the sons, took her to court under sections 39 and 40 of the Administrator General's Acts to file a claim against her for breach of trust. They also took New Falmouth and Mr. Chisholm to court as well. All right. So when they went to court, the Administrator General did not turn up in court. However, she sent an affidavit to the judge. The affidavit stated that in 1967, Mr. Abrahams, who was acting on behalf of Mr. Chisholm, approached Mr. Jobson with an offer to buy between 300 to 350 acres of the property. the Administrator General, when she was approached by Mr. Chisholm, instead of saying to Mr. Chisholm, okay, if Mr. Abrams bought the property on your behalf, then your lawyers or yourself should have receipts attesting to the fact that money was paid over and whatnot. Instead, she contacted the lawyers of the deceased, Levy, Livingston and Company, for them to show receipts that money was paid to Mr. Jobson, because it would have had to go to the lawyer. That money was paid to Mr. Jobson, and the land belonged to. So therefore, the land would belong to
the bank. Do you know the bank that was to receive the?
There was no. The lawyer said it didn't happen. There was no receipts. There was no receipts.
No,
So,
but I mean the bank that Newfoundland claims they would have.
They had another case. They had another case, Newfoundland, because Mr. Chisholm, there's a lot of cases.
That's not in the court case. That they didn't actually check
exactly,
any bank
because
verify.
There's a 1,000,001 court cases in Florida and in Jamaica with Mr. Chisholm with banks, because Mr. Chisholm
they were flooding him with lawsuits. It seems,
yes, because he even eventually turned around and sued Newfoundland, sued the Phelan family for their shares in the company. But let's continue, because I don't want to get anybody to get confused. So when, according to the affidavit that the Administrator General showed in court, which said when she approached the lawyers for the deceased for receipts to show that money had changed hands whatsoever, none was forthcoming, because no money did change hands. So instead, she said she was then presented with a letter dated the 15th of September 1967 from Mr. Chisholm's lawyer, saying that there was an option to purchase the property, and in that option, it stated that once £26,900 was paid to Mr. Jobson for the property, that Mr. Jobson should then turn over the title and everything to Mr. Chisholm. Okay. However, here's where it gets tricky. There's a difference between an option to buy and something stated that the property was bought. The Administrator General then tried to use the letter which stated that there was an option to buy the property to say to the judge, to ask the judge to ratify the sale and give it to Newfoundland and Chisholm and Company, whatever. So the sons claim that the letter of intent or option was a fraudulent document, but for whatever reason, the court threw out their claim. All right, but here's where it gets tricky now. In the same option to buy, the Administrator General said that Mr. Chisholm told her that he was occupying the property since 1974. However, when Mr. Jobson died in 1980, the title for the property was still in his name. So there is no way that Chisholm could, everything is showing that something sinister took place, because there is no way that Chisholm could have been occupying the property and the title was not in his name. So this is where now you find out more about the Newfoundland Company, Edward Seaga, and exactly what was taking place. So like I said, the argument is that the land was bought in 1967. Hugh Lawson Shearer broke ground in 1968. So here is what happened now. The family in Texas and Seaga, they created the Newfoundland Resorts Limited. James Chisholm was the chairman, the CEO. He was everything. It was just one man with a company around him. Okay.
It's alleged.
It's not alleged.
It's not in the documents, Jordan.
Again, may I speak, please? I'm speaking.
Please put
may I continue to speak?
Hold on there,
Oh
Mister.
my God.
One second. What happened, Marshall?
we cannot find even the principal owners or the directors or principal member of this company until that is made public. I personally, I'm interested to hear what the speaker is stating, but until something is formulated in black and white, it is alleged because no court
You
document.
can say alleged. I will not say alleged because I have done my research. I have spoken to people and I've heard it. So I'm not going to say alleged.
Alleged is important.
Okay. Can people allow me to speak, please?
So, all right. So technically, yes. So at the moment, there's
Because one key
no
statement was
verified
made.
owner of
The
the
conversations are
Jordan, can you allow them to allow me to speak? When you're speaking, you can say alleged. I have the right to speak and direct the conversation to my
Yes, you have
lightning.
the
When
right
you're
to
speaking,
do that.
when you guys, oh my
You cannot do
God.
that. You will put
guys,
people at
guys.
liability.
I am
This
not
is
putting
platform.
anyone at liability, madam. I said the research is there. You can go and do it. If
All right,
you
guys,
did not
guys.
find it, that's
Hold
not
on,
my
hold on.
problem.
So hold
Jordan,
on.
there is
All right.
no
So,
documentation
my
in
God.
that state that
Wait,
Edward
wait.
Seago owned Newfoundland
guys,
Resort.
wait,
Jordan,
Michelle
let me
and
read
Marshall,
this to
hold
you.
on, hold on.
Let me
Michelle
read
and
this to
Marshall,
you.
no, Michelle, wait a second. So I guess we can give the disclosure that the words of the speaker are not the words of everyone on this live. All right,
Thank
so
you.
that protects everyone, and that also, I guess, protects.
No, she can
Yeah.
speak.
Let me read this to you, Jordan. Let me read this
But
to you. The
but we
connection.
understand, Marshall. We understand.
Let me read this to you. The connection between former Jamaican Prime Minister Edward Seaga and the Phelan family of Texas centers on real estate and tourism development in Trelawney, Jamaica, specifically through the corporate entity New Falmouth Resort Limited. Okay?
Which was the source?
Oh my God. Young man, go learn to use Google. Allow me to finish, please, Jordan. Please allow me to
From a
finish.
legal background.
Can you allow me to
All right,
finish?
guys, come on. Let her finish. Michelle, if you don't mind, I would ask you to refer us to any sources you have that you can share.
If you
that you may have read from, all right?
a simple Google search does it, Jordan. All you need to do is Google Edward Seaga and the Phelan family of Texas. All right.
No, but in terms of all the details, I wouldn't mind you sharing as many references as possible.
Okay.
just so that
You want me to share the?
I have a portion of the information you have, so don't get me wrong.
No.
I'm just saying
I sincerely get.
because we're trying to make it that whatever we read,
Jordan, not because
to, we refer to, we at least share some sort of
source, so we can put weight.
No.
The source could be Facebook.
So all right.
No.
So
I'm not reading from Facebook. Jordan, if you want to join with me right now, just you can go to. Okay. I don't even remember where I was. Okay. Let me finish.
You would have been
the whole New Falmouth. Okay. So as a result of wanting to acquire the property now, what happened was the Phelan family and Mr. Seaga formulated the New Falmouth Resorts Limited with Mr. Chisholm as CEO, everything. The company was just one person at the time. All right. So the whole idea, let me explain to you now the whole idea of this project, what the aim of this project was. All right. So this project, at first it was called the New Falmouth project. Okay, at first it was called the New Falmouth project. So that is when Eulas and Shearer broke ground in 1962. He broke ground for the New Falmouth project. The New Falmouth Resort itself came into being based on court records in 1974. Okay, so what the entire idea for this?
Repeat that. Sorry, repeat that.
The whole, according to court records, we have the New Falmouth project, and then we have the New Falmouth Resort, the business itself. Then, so based on certain court records.
When was it incorporated? You said 74.
1974. Okay.
But I thought it was incorporated in 1967.
No, this, you see, you have some documentation that says 1967, and then you have other documentations that says 1974. I don't know if the ones that say 1967 meant the actual,
But
the idea itself.
67,
Yeah.
right?
Come again, Jordan. I didn't hear you.
The sale would have been in 67, right?
Yes, but remember now when Chisholm
But if you're second guessing and you don't have the date correct between
can you be quiet, please? I'm
She said
speaking to
74
Jordan.
from hers, but 67 is what I read it as.
So we have
Can I
conflict.
continue to speak
No,
to
well,
Jordan
I'll look
without
up that
you
as well then.
interrupting me, please?
But yeah, go ahead, Mission.
Because if you remember, in the option when the Administrator General said Mr. Chisholm approached her, remember she said Mr. Chisholm told her that he was occupying the property from 1974. All right. So let me explain what the whole idea of this resort was. So this resort was supposed to be a major. Are you hearing me, Jordan? Because I'm getting a feedback.
Yeah, man, I'm listening.
Oh, okay. This project centered around a major tourism development intended to turn Falmouth into a premier resort destination. It was supposed to be an international village complex designed to feature distinct areas representing global cultures and countries. And the countries that were supposed to be a part of this initiative were Jamaica, Japan, England, France, Switzerland, India, and regions of Africa. Now, why they required 1,000 acres or more was that each international zone, meaning each international country that was a part of this project, would have a zone for themselves that would feature, their culture, their native restaurants, their gift shops, and stuff like that. However, what happened now was in 1972, when the Manley government came into power, Mr. Manley halted the project because he said that a project of that magnitude would not only infringe on the properties of other persons, but it would also cause a problem with persons who were already on the New Falmouth property. So the blueprint for that entire project was shelved. In 2012, before 2012, Mr. Chisholm took the tenants who were on the property. There were 99 of them. Took them to court to get them off the property. In 2012, the Portia Simpson administration tried to purchase, through the Ministry of Housing, the 9 acres that these persons were living on so that they could continue to live there, because now it was a contention with the residents and with New Falmouth. However, that the court overruled that. To my understanding, I am not sure about this part, but Mr. Meadows stated that when the Portia Simpson Miller administration tried to obtain the property in 2012, and the judge ruled against it, the Portia Simpson Miller administration placed a caveat on the property. And that caveat was lifted like a couple months ago, I heard. I'm not sure how that goes. All right. So that's just a basic information as to how the land itself came about. As far as the children are concerned, the Administrator General, the claims against the Administrator General is for fraud, breach of trust, and there's another claim I don't remember. And there's also another brother, Oliver Jobson, who also filed a claim that he had bought the property from his father. The judge threw out that claim on November the 8th, I don't remember exactly which year, saying that claim had no merit. And so this is an ongoing thing. The only thing I wanted to really put out here specifically is that the tenants on the property were not squatters. It's been generation after generation after generation. As a matter of fact, there was a young man that was born on the property, and he left Jamaica when he was 35. He's now 59. He's living in England, and he's saying that his family is still living on the living on the same property. This entire fiasco is a political one, and there's no white walls around it. There's nothing to pretty it up. There's nothing to paint it in. It speaks to injustice, and it speaks highly to corruption. All right, I will land there for now, Jordan. I just wanted to. Hold on, Mr. Ingram. Mr. Ingram.
To respond to the squatting matter.
I just wanted to put it out there that these people were not squatters. Their foreparents, their mothers, their fathers, their grandparents received permission to live on the property. Back in those days, everything, things like that, because a lot of people don't understand what happened when people, after slavery, when there were people who were working for people on certain properties and whatnot, and then when these slaves, when slavery was abolished, this is how squatting started. So people would come in with the argument that the PMP started squatting. The PMP did not start squatting in Jamaica. That is absolute rubbish. And people need to read and research before you regurgitate rubbish. Go ahead, Mr. Ingram.
The question, do your research show anything today as to this, a survivor, as a director, as a shareholder today? Your research show for the new Falmouth company? Yes. Well, it doesn't show it for the new Falmouth company, because here's the problem with New Falmouth. New Falmouth got 2 court warnings that because they didn't show who were the beneficiary of the company, and they were behind in taxes. The registrar struck them off the registry in 2024. But to my understanding, because Mr. Meadows said he knew the gentleman died. He had 2 daughters. One, because Mr.
Chisholm has 2 daughters?
Yes, and he also has several businesses in Jamaica, one being Chisholm and Company, Realty Company at Caledonia Road in Crossroads. Now, the daughter on that that was listed on that document as secretary, her name is Jacqueline Chisholm. To my understanding, she had cancer, and she came up to get treatment, and lawyers from Jamaica came to get her to sign some documents. I am not sure how true that is, but New Falmouth, the company itself, the New Falmouth Resorts Company, was listed at 5 Beverly Drive or Beverly Hills Drive in St. Andrew. All right. So there's a lot of pieces, because the court orders, the court papers are so much. It's so much. It's Chisholm and Company with the Bank of Jamaica, Mr. Chisholm with New Falmouth, because Chisholm also turned around and sued the Phelan and took the Phelan family themselves to court to get their shares, because they had the majority shares, since they were the ones who initially formed the New Falmouth Resort Company to work on their behalf. They had the majority shares, and he took them to court to get the majority shares from them, and the judge in that case granted him those shares. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Michelle, I have a question to ask you. You said earlier
what did you say, Jordan?
Can I answer a question directly? Because that's the reason why I said to allege this up.
Hold on, Marsha. So, Michelle, what I would ask you to do when you get a chance is if you can find some sort of documentation regarding
I can do that.
The incorporation date. Because
I can do that, right? I can, because some is saying 67 and some is saying 64.
70, but I'd want to know if there's any validation that we can have for the 74.
There's just a lot. There's just a lot of
Most of the
hanky-panky.
information that you've shared
Allege.
is in the court
Hanky
document.
panky.
Thank you.
Can
It's
fairly
it's
say
in.
that.
I'm not. You're not going to tell me
Most of
what to
you've shared
say.
is there.
I will
It's
say what
pieced
I
together,
think.
but
We have
it
learned,
is-
we
it
have,
is-
we have learned, we have learned recently that one of the daughters is alive and I've spoken of
Marcia,
Yes.
yes.
Her name is Marsha. Her name is Marsha.
Marcia.
Her name is
And
Marsha.
that is why I'm simply saying here now, if there's a survivor who can
Exactly.
speak with authority, then that survivor, the weight of our conversation now must be resting on this person.
She
And we
made
have
there was
learned-
an article
we
in the
have
paper
learned-
today that was in the
Yes,
Gleaner
I can-
today
I
from
can
her,
read
you know,
from
Mr.
it,
Ingram.
Mr.
I don't
Ingram,
know
she
if you
came
knew
out
that.
and made
My father would never do this.
statements.
I get to understand that she haven't seen the statement as yet. I'm just trying to find it tonight.
Okay.
But the important thing is that she made a statement and it sounded as if she disassociated herself from the action that took place the other morning.
Yes, because she said her
No,
father
if
would not have
that's-
allowed it. And Dennis
No, if
Meadows
that is
himself,
a
the man
fact.
said he knew the man, and the man was a humanitarian, the man was a good man.
Yes, so if that is a fact, the question that is over all of us today is, who authorized what took place the other morning in Cooper's Pen?
Well, we
That's
should
the
have to ask that
crucial
question.
question.
Mr. Ingram, I have a question that even
because
supersedes that. It was stated that Edward Siaga is the owner of Newfoundland Resort Limited earlier, and I said to say alleged. And I just want to know, was that a mistake? Was that a mistake? And I'm being sincere. Okay, thank you. Okay,
Hold on,
thank you.
Mr. Ingram. Hold on, Mr. Ingram. Hold on, Mr. Ingram. Would you like me to read it again? The connection between former Jamaican Prime Minister Edward Siaga. Okay, sorry, Mr. Ingram. Go ahead.
If Michelle determined to make a statement here and label herself, that's Michelle's business. So, Marsha, you cannot.
Thank you.
Wait. What was the statement?
What I'm saying, if Michelle determined to make a statement, and Marsha is saying that the statement can land her into liability.
Yes, because a decedent cannot still have assets out there landering.
Mr. Ingram, it also states.
Your prerogative, Marsha.
It also states that it was under the Urban Development Corporation initiative that this plan that he had was a part of that also. So I don't know why.
No, ma'am, I don't disagree with your information, but that piece is critical because a decedent still cannot have assets out there, especially the former prime minister, and not even his ears.
Marsha,
your argument don't move
what
water.
it says is the connection. This is not Michelle Bradshaw making this up. The connection between former Jamaican Prime Minister Edward Siaga and the Phelan family of Texas centers on real estate and tourism development in Trelawney, Jamaica, specifically through the corporate entity New Falmouth Resorts Limited.
Jordan, you can pull back up your life and you will hear what was stated.
No, I did say that New Falmouth. I stated because it's there that New Falmouth was created by the Phelan family and Edward Siaga, and I make no apology for that.
All right.
I am here.
Lady, don't tell me what to say. I am old enough to say how I
The lady want to make the statement that they finished.
All right, Marsha, there's no value to that. That's neither here nor there because the truth is.
Hold on, guys.
1 second.
Sources from Facebook.
Don't go there.
Guys, stop disrespecting the lady in the comments. That's not nice. Come on. She's entitled to her opinion. She can decide how to deal with it. But don't disrespect her in the comments.
You have no truth to make comments because you don't have any truth.
Guys. Ingram. So Michelle, where it concerns, because I know that there was a contest for
her comment, but Michelle is not entitled to hers.
Right. So No.
Jordan,
I,
I'm not hearing it.
guys. So I know that between Phelan and their set of members or family members within that company, as well as with Chisholm, I know there was a battle for New Falmouth resorts. I don't have any, I can't find any documentation specifically that shows that Siago was a part of the company. What I can find is that Clinton and Hart was representing the Phelan family in contesting for the ownership of
The property?
of the property. And Hugh Hart, who would have been related to Clinton Hart, is the brother-in-law of Edward Siago. So yes, we can say there may have been a relationship, but we do have to be careful. Not necessarily because I think Siago is going to come and do anything to us, nor is anybody else. But at the same time,
But Jordan,
I think there. Hold on. I
Sorry,
think there is some relationship, and I don't have proof of Siaga specifically being a part of the ownership, but I do, and I would say this: if I were asking my government to look at things, or if I were asking my government to say address the issues properly, then I would be asking for it to be carried to the Privy Council and for there to be a review of this entire. Well,
all right,
you
let
see,
me
that's
let
the
me
thing.
give you a
If
little.
we're being truthful, I don't believe anybody would want it to be known if there was any ownership between whether Shero or Siago or anybody from JLP.
Let me give you a little tidbit. Let me give you something.
I don't think we're
let me give you something right here. Let me give you
but
something.
I do have my questions as well, is what I'm saying.
Okay, I get it. Let me give you something here. In the late 1960s, Edward Siaga, serving as Minister of
Yes,
Finance
you
and
can
Planning,
make sure Siaga hears it.
championed ambitious coastal and
heard
resort master plans, including government backing for New Falmouth Resorts Limited and infrastructure loans for regional tourist development in Trelawney, Jamaica. And the idea for the project was his idea.
No, and look, don't get me wrong. As in, we have to be careful why I said this, because being
So
the
you
prime
can't say
minister at the
his-
time,
It was his vision.
being the prime minister at the time.
Okay, let me tell you what his role was.
Marsha,
Wait.
this is
Let me tell you what his role was. This was
No, guys, look, it's not about what his role was or what he did or didn't do. What I want us to always be able to do is make sure that there is a piece of documentation that shows it. Otherwise, it's gonna just make it more challenging. That's all. And where it concerns, don't get me wrong, we know based on our history that a number of politicians in their positions of power or their access to land or their access to resources, they've shared them up, they've privatized them, they've put a little in something here, they've opened a shell company there. And so we know a lot of those things have occurred. But I still want to be able to prove them fully. And if I can't prove them fully, then I don't really want to use them that way, if you get what I'm saying.
All right. Can I say something here, guys?
You can see, hold on.
I have a question.
Wait. So there's a documentation, guys. No. There's a documentation that shows connections of some people to the New Falmouth Resort. There's a documentation to show lawyers who represented Clinton and Hart, and there's documentation to show that there's connections between Hugh Hart and being the brother-in-law of Siaga, because he would have married Pam Siaga. There's proof of that. There's no denying that. There's no, oh, you get around that. What there isn't proof of at this very moment is that Siaga himself personally owned or had any connection to New Falmouth. Did he have the idea for the Falmouth, set up, fine. Could he have made something off of it on the side? Sure. But I would want to make sure that there is documentation of something like that. Whereas, as I said, there's documentation of the other things that you mentioned. That's why you're not going to hear me deny what you said otherwise, because majority of what you said is in court documents. And once you can review court documents, you can deduce certain other information from them. So what you said, in most part, would have been correct by law. But if we're going to go by law to say Siaga had something to do with the ownership, we'd have to be able to present that. And I know there's not final documentation to show Siaga, but to be fair, you know, there's not much documentation to show who owns half of the country, yet we know that a number of our leaders, a number of ministers and MPs and public officials and all of them have owned pieces of land through this means or that means, whether legal or not. So don't get me wrong. I just want to make sure that when we are fighting that fight and when we have the movement going, that the movement can't be hindered by anything.
Jordan, I think what we are faced with today,
right?
Jordan, I think what we are faced with today is who would have authorized that operation the other morning. That's the crux of the matter.
Exactly.
That's the crux of that conversation today.
And I think that would give more answers to
authorize that operation the other morning.
Yeah.
When the police finished working the other morning, they were housed at a nearby hotel, breakfast and lunch. This is no ordinary situation.
Yeah, that's government. That's government business, Mr.
Thanks for having me, Jordan. I'm going to run because
Michelle, I have a quick question for you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Hold on. Michelle,
I have a question for you.
Stay, give me another 10 minutes, Michelle, so they can ask you questions as well.
I have a question for Michelle.
Let me say this, Jordan. For a private,
All right, so Ingram, you finish, and then Common Sense and then Shovel.
Jordan, for a private entity to carry out an operation like this the other day, and to have the police back in at the level it did, have left some serious questions to be answered.
Efficiency, Mr. Ingram.
And I'm calling on Jamaicans. I am calling on Jamaicans to pay attention to this situation, because to have people being taken out of their oath, and I've heard somebody say in the name of cadet, saying that in Jamaica the law allow police to go into your bed at 3:30 and take you out and keep up to it. That utter rubbish was uttered. And we can hear these things uttered because its one objective is to defend the wrong to the utmost. And it is scandalous.
Yeah, Michelle is still here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
The question I have for you, Michelle, is this. You mentioned that that development, you see, in Falmouth, that they were planning, and with this cultural thing, which would have actually bring a lot of employment investment to the country, right? Do you think it was a good thing? Let's say it had materialized.
No, I don't think so, because the fact that it would have uprooted a lot of persons, and it would have created a lot of problems. I don't think so, and that's my opinion.
That's your opinion. Well, me can fight. I'm not against your opinion, but the truth is, my opinion is such a brilliant project that would have changed the GDP of the country. It would have created thousands of employment. The same very people in that area would have received good jobs. And then when I mentioned that Manley had shut down the project, it just goes to show the different ways of Michael Manley screw Jamaica.
So you would prefer.
Let me finish.
You would prefer people get uprooted with nowhere to live.
No, let me finish. Yes. So what I'm trying to say to you, a project like that would have done so much for the country. And when Michael Manley shut it down,
that is your opinion. You don't have no proof of that. You don't have no proof of that. You don't have no.
No, Michelle.
Michelle
said he shut it down.
Hold on, man.
From Michelle.
No, but that's your opinion. We have. Hold on.
So let him finish his opinion.
We have how much tourists.
Hold
on. No, but we have how much hotel bill in Jamaica.
Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point. Michelle said Manley shut it down, and I'm taking from what Michelle said, and that's what I'm
I
responding
don't
to.
just say Michelle said Manley shut it down. Repeat everything that Michelle said.
Well, in essence, I'm just
if he quotes it wrongly, correct him.
No,
All right, let him.
all I'm saying, listen, all I'm saying, to shut down such a project, it just goes to show the different ways that the PMP government with Manley had screwed the country and run us bankrupt, and it's a national disgrace.
May I speak?
And
May I respond now, Jordan? Because I'm gonna have to go.
PMP not a good judgment with nothing. It's a disgrace. And thank you for enlightening me on that one, because I know several ways how the PMP sabotage and destroy the country, but this is something new I didn't know. And thanks for the information.
Like the CIA, like planning the CIA.
Hold on, Putter, let me respond to him. Putter, let me respond to him, please. Let me respond to him. Allow me to respond to him. Allow me to respond to him.
I'm sure Manley won't be bothered about his comments.
So as a Jamaican, you would have preferred something of that magnitude, because when you people are going to come and talk about Manley sabotage Jamaica, on the need for go learn on the political history, because the only prime ministers who have sabotaged Jamaica is Siaga and Bustamante. So go and learn your political history. All right, because it was a Manley who was in league with Eli Tisona, the Israeli mobster that opened up Jamaica to use Jamaica as a transit center for guns, drugs, and stuff like that to be transferred through Jamaica to Colombia and from the USA. It wasn't Manley with the help of Siaga who destroyed Jamaica. It wasn't Manley who did that.
No, but you
Michael Manley was the one though. Michael Manley, the Honorable Michael Manley was the one though
Jordan
who stood up and stood up for South Africa and was part and was known to help end apartheid in South Africa. But learn your political history before you try to come at me. Now let me finish with what you said. You said that Michael Manley did not want that project because him not like Jamaicans or whatever it was you said. If you had the education and the capability of listening and learning, you would have understood what I said. I said a project that magnitude would have uprooted many Jamaicans from their homes. Where would they go? That's what I said. You are going to allow me to speak. When you are speaking, I allowed you to speak. Allow me to speak. Allow me to speak. You mean to put them in tents? You mean to put them in tents like them have them now upon the same property where them demolish them to cause psychological effect on the people? Is that what you're speaking about? You mean to break the people like the people on that were on the land in Cooper's Pen have been broken, when them have to get bucket and whatnot for do them waste, you know? You mean the same people when them come out of the tent and look on the place where they used to live, to look at the place where they had a home and they had beds and are psychologically affected? You mean like the children who are walking around in the rubble in Cooperstown looking at their broken toes with their fingers in their mouth, biting their fingers with their little brains trying to understand what took place? Is that what you're talking about? Do you understand the psychological effect on those people? You need to have several seats. Jordan, have a good night, my friend.
Well, thank you for your time there, Michelle, and I thank you for sharing your views.
Jordan, I want to address something that was said earlier.
Let me just respond to Michelle. But thank you, Michelle, and I appreciate you sharing the information and breaking down your findings. As I said, I'd want us to follow up regarding the incorporation date of the company itself, as well as more information about it, because from what I understand, it's in the middle of a bush. It's literally in the middle of a bush. There's no office. There's no access to it, or the access to the company, or you can't do nothing with the company, if you get what I'm saying. So I do think there needs to be way more looking into there, and way more address by that company, by whoever it is that has taken any time to be doing any of the actions that took place. A lot of the information she shares, is in the court documents. So that's why I said this is really not that big of a deal. We can all find them right now. If you just go and look up Dimitri Jobson and another, that shows the case of two of the sons and their push along with the Administrator General.
Respectfully, host, there's no court documents that shows that Edward Siaga was ever linked
Marshall,
any of this.
I wasn't speaking about Siaga. We already confirmed that Siaga was not found in court.
She's lying.
But no, I don't. We can't say she's
doing the selective information that she wants to read.
No, if you want to say that she's tying Siaga to it without sharing the document, then sure. But you can't say she's lying, because at the end of the day, if she's found documentation or if she's deduced from it that based on Siaga's relationship or connection to to Hugh Hart, would have been contending for it, but even then, fine. You can't say he would have directly had any ownership, and that's what I would say to Michelle, is that don't say he had direct ownership. Could we say that there's belief? No, but could we? It's not propaganda again, and this is the problem. You guys like to use these words, propaganda. Propaganda doesn't mean anything negative, It actually just means information or rumor. It's just that you use it with a negative connotation. We do really need to stop doing that. And the same thing with fake news and all of that. If you believe somebody is lying, then you should be required to prove that they're lying. At least if you're going to call them a liar. When it's something that you haven't yourself proven to be false. Not to say that their information is not false, but
common sense is the biggest propagandist.
Jesus, I thought we had a silver lining in all of this.
Well, no, I think the conversation has been progressive. As in,
good evening, Footer. Good evening.
Host, I want to do with the spotting.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody.
No. Host said I was to come after common sense.
Hold on. I want to go back to something that common sense said earlier.
That's true, though. Chauvel was waiting quite some
time. Hold on. I want to say something to common sense.
No. It's my turn to have the mic.
Yeah, let Chauvel share, and then
right.
You can go ahead.
When you were saying that squatting host is technically not illegal, you're technically incorrect. Under the Trespass Act, that is what deals with it, Section 7. Yes? Section 7 says that anyone that unlawfully enter or occupy land, it carry a criminal penalty of a fine not exceeding 10,000 or imprisonment of up to 6 months. But here's what that section also covers. That section covers that if you have a strict imposition of a 1-year limit. So if the landowner allows the trespasser or the trespasser, or the squatter to remain in quiet possession, meaning you don't tell them to leave, you don't disturb them, for a full year without taking legal action or demanding them to quit the premises, then the criminal provisions of the trespass can no longer be used. What you have to use now is a civil remedy, where you go to the court to get a recovery of possession. Yes, but the act of squatting is illegal and it does carry a criminal penalty. It's just that you have 1 year in which that criminal penalty is in force. After the 1 year, then it goes to a civil remedy. So it is technically a criminal offense. It is illegal.
Not technical. It is a criminal offense.
Right. No, I'm just saying technically means it is.
It is. Don't say technically. It is
all
a
right,
criminal
true.
offense.
All right, fine. So
this is what happiness is. We cannot in this country.
All right, common sense. We get that. We still have the mind, common sense. It is illegal. All right. Now, in relation to this back and forth in relation to the land that was here.
Wait, Chauvel, just to clarify, you see the word squatting there, though?
Huh?
You see the word squatting there, though?
No. Trespasser.
Okay.
No, that's a different something.
Right.
Yeah,
no. But it deals with.
Oh my God.
No. No, caution, it's okay, it's okay.
Yes, the right word is informal settlement.
No. So caution, it's okay, it's okay. I just that's fine. Let him continue.
Okay.
It deals with the unlawful entry and possession. Good? So it's not just the passing through a land without the permission of the property owner. You possess it. Yes? All right, what's done after that? In relation to this battle, I'm happy that the Jobson's sons have resources can take the matter to Privy Council. Because what the Privy Council will do, nobody can buy out the Privy Council. Nobody can make offers to the Privy Council. So the Privy Council or final appellate court will be able to shake up the house and turn it upside down. And I'm so happy that them have the pocket can take it there. Because obviously the children are not going to let the matter. So that the full truth can bust out what really are going. And who did a put on part and who did a take off part. Simple.
I would love that. Wait, Joel, you finished already?
Finish. The only thing we don't have with common sense, you see, is that I am equally a political activist. And when you're going to defend your party, you have to defend the party in truth so that you can, when you talk, your word of weight. Right?
Wait,
and my disappointment in common sense is strictly about the matter of squatting. That it factually started when slavery was abolished, because even though it was unfair, the freed people.
But Chavez,
they had nowhere. Oh my God!
We're talking about modern Jamaica.
Common sense. No, man.
We're talking about. Modern Jamaica.
They had no
modern Jamaica starting about 1962.
Common sense. Hold on, man.
Modern Jamaica. That's what I hear about the slavery period. Yes, it's understood there, so no one go back.
No, but you said no. But my point is, you stated that, and we need to stop it. That is, Michael Manley started squatting. You can't do that.
No, Michael Manley? Yes, you too young to know. Michael Manley promoted squatting and instituted big time in
Jamaica. I am?
Yes, sir.
So wait, Shabbat.
Personal thing with Michael Mann never personal.
Wait, guys, wait, hold on. So wait,
Michael Mann never personal thing.
Wait, Ingram, hold on a second. So wait, Shabbat, with your JLP or PNP?
I am a democratic socialist.
Okay.
I'm not a PNP, I'm a democratic socialist.
Yes, but what I'm saying, Michael Manley went out there and publicly promote squatting, and everybody know that. I don't know how you don't know that, sir.
So hold on, guys. Let me ask you something, though. Let me ask you something.
Host. We need common sense to have the courage to speak the truth. Both political party promote squatting.
No, it's the number one squatting.
Right.
PNP is the squatting party. We cannot change that.
You don't have the courage.
We cannot change that.
You don't have the courage to speak the truth.
And you know why? Because
No, so hold on. One thing I want to know, guys. Damn, I forgot the question. Oh yes, right. What do we understand? Because what you read there, Chauvel, was foot up. Begin mute the mic now. I think it keeps it delays, I think. But you guys keep calling it squatting. And that is what confuses me the most. As in, why do you think that that's appropriate to keep? As in, we know why Andrew does it. Because, hold on. We know why Andrew does it. Because Andrew does it that way because it's the Trump playbook, which is to kind of chastise and categorize a certain group of people in a certain way, so that it kind of demeans them and degrades them.
Look up for the meeting. Look up for the meeting.
No. Look up Jordan. Wait, guys. Wait. Let me finish. What happens there? Because it's and you see, at least this is my view. I don't know about you guys, but just the same way how I hear Trump determine all immigrants as useless and worthless, and Rubio talking about them as rapists and rapists and and that's how they determine them. And then if you notice across the UK and and Europe in parts, they're against immigrants as well. And if you notice with us, we have a way of speaking about the Chinese, about the Cubans, about the Haitians, not so much the Cubans, it's because some of like how them look and so on. But with the Chinese now and with the Haitians, yeah man, we speak about them as if them don't mean nothing. And then it's the same way how we speak about the Melissa victims now. It's the same way how people speaking about the Trelawney victims. It's almost like a way of validation, so that we don't have to care as much, or so that we don't have to empathize as much with who those people are and what they're going through. And then on top of it, we still expect others to respect us. So we're currently asking for reparations from UK. What happens when UK look down and says, so hold on then, why are you asking for reparations when you don't even want to give the people the land that is there already?
No,
we gave it back to your government so you could give it out to the people.
No,
you see, we call them squatters today. We call people squatters today. When if things were done properly throughout this time, there would be land in every person's name, wouldn't there be?
You have a point there. But what I'm saying,
Nonsense.
you can't conflate the two.
Jordan, people buy land, sir. You have to work and buy the land.
Labor, making people work without paying them is an atrocity.
Let me ask you guys something.
As property,
the most elite
is an atrocity.
Land they get by just buying it for the actual value. You think so?
Jordan, people work and buy land. Stop talking about government giving people land. Nonsense.
You do realize, right? There was a point in time where it was
nonsense. You buy land.
It was £1 per acre to purchase land in a time where wages, well, we didn't even have a minimum wage, which meant that you didn't have to actually pay people.
Let's go back. It used to be was it pence? It used to be pence back in the days. Forget about pound. Before pound, it was pence.
No, and not just that, but before minimum wage, which is what Manley put in, you did not have to pay people. You do understand that?
Nonsense,
Jordan. People would have put in a minimum wage. People were getting paid.
You know what true, man.
Jordan, I want to clarify something.
Jordan, let me clarify. Let me clarify.
I want to clarify something quickly. It's a reason I say that I am because I need to address some people in the comment section that, forgive me, I'm not a bit slow. I mean, like when people can reason well. When I say I am not PNP, I'm a democratic socialist. I am speaking about my core political philosophy and leaning, right? So when Andrew Holness say free tuition, when Andrew Holness said free access to healthcare, I will support that because it's a democratic socialist policy.
Right.
Yes. When we say we are institutions of a party, is when we behave. Don't disrespect common sense. We behave like common sense, where we cannot break away from party line. Oh, you've committed treason. We're not boy with that. Anything that is in line with democratic socialism, I support it.
So
and that's what I can say.
Michael Manley abandoned that. Your history,
oh my God.
Michael Manley abandoned that. So your history, you kind of lost on that one. Michael Manley condemned it.
Must come Sunday live every Sunday. I think people would cancel their subscription to Netflix. Got tonight. Nice.
Chavez.
Yes, come on.
Michael Manley already condemned that, so you late. You're not saying anything.
It's clear to me.
Can I address my point now? Can I address my point?
Man.
Yes.
Jordan.
No, he abandoned his bush jacket and
right, common sense.
Before the president. And said, Mr. President, I'm a new man.
He wanted to take the black one. I apologize for him. He never want to take away your white phone. He didn't want to take your white phone.
I'm saying. Chavez, if a student of history realize that Michael Manley condemned democratic socialism, and go embrace capitalism.
He did not condemn it.
He did
You are
condemn it.
speaking
He
about an
apologized to
interview,
the Jamaican
common
people.
sense. You are
He
speaking
apologized
about an
sense.
interview that he did in 1989.
And what
Don't
happened
take
to
the
his
matter
bush
out
jacket?
of context.
He burned his
Don't
bush jacket
take what
and
the-
put
oh my
on
God,
three-piece
the camera.
suit and put on three-piece suit and went and bowed. And put on three-piece suit and went and bowed. You see what it did? You see what it did to Cuba? You see what it did to Cuba? They are over there.
Jordan, is this
Jordan,
or
may
do
I
I
say
get to make
something?
my point?
You see what it did? You
Does
see what
everybody make them point on it?
Cuba?
Right, common sense talking foolishness,
Starvation.
you know. Right? So first of all, may I address it. Good night, everybody. First of all, common sense sit on this platform earlier and I said that there's no squatting problem in Bahamas and Barbados, right? And that's a lie. And this is just show you how dumb these JLP some supporters are now. There is a squatting problem in every Caribbean island. There's no Caribbean island that are squatters free. None. Every one of them have a squatting problem.
It makes sense because of slavery. When slavery ended, we put them to live.
Both squatting on private property and squatting on government property. Right? Every Caribbean island, and you can Google it. Just a simple Google search will tell you these things and no come and put in a word for propaganda and a lie. Michael Manley did not start. Michael Manley did not. Come and send shut up. Come and send shut up. Come and send shut up. Right? Because Haiti is hold on.
Look, hold on.
Please, can I finish? Can I make my point, please? Can I make my point? Haiti population is way bigger than Jamaica population, and Haiti have a bigger squatting problem than Jamaica population, right? Jamaica population would have bigger than Bahamas population, so Jamaica they have a bigger squatting problem. That's how it works. Common sense. Dunce, stupid. That's how it works. You can't compare Jamaica squatting problem. You cannot compare Jamaica squatting problem when Jamaica squatting problem is basically the population
of a person. Insult his action. Don't insult him as a person. You have to understand today is Sunday where we cook with rice and peas and chicken. So Sunday is a for common sense because Michael Manley took away his white power.
Yeah. Why is it that my Michael Mule? Me attack. I mean, everybody talk. I'm listening. Everybody know. So why me attack? Everybody I jump in and jump. I mean attack. Right. So the squatting problem in Jamaica is basically the population of some of the Caribbean islands. And the squatting problem in Jamaica is bigger than some of the population of some of the Caribbean islands. So based off of Jamaica.
US has squatting problem too.
Size, population size. You're gonna have. Trinidad have squatting problem. Every Caribbean country, I just tell you that I still something. Every Caribbean country in the Caribbean have a squatting problem. Right? Just one Google search can do it, and it will tell you that.
I did a research.
The next thing where this madman come up, the next thing where this madman, brother, stop it nice, man. Stop it nice, man. Can you see something, man? The next thing where this madman I talk about Michael Manley start squatting and push something. If squatting is an informal settlement. Informal settlement is what classify as squatting. It's just that people go and see a piece of land and then take it up and just put up on something on it and live. That is what you call squatting. When you lease property to somebody for them to live on, it's not squatting. And that's what Michael Manley was doing, land lease, right? So he was trying to eradicate the squatting problem that Jamaica have. So when you not go out there, just read the thing, and if you don't understand, get a dictionary and look up the definition of each and every word and try ask somebody where have like a sense to try to put it together and educate you about things. because you cannot put in people in a lease agreement and then you're going to talk about the person who was trying to push squatting problem, right? Leasing people land is what you use to get rid of the informal settlement, and leasing the people in the land with the option to purchase the land is what you call something like getting rid of the squatting, because you're developing formal settlement. Just like what even the Prime Minister come out the idea and say they're not going to put no social housing fund, no sort of property unless you get a 99-year lease, which is considered a lifetime lease agreement, right? So when they come out and I go spread on a little propaganda and a little stupidness, please, there are people out here that know to read, and people know to understand, and people know how to break down words and put them into context and put them into meaning. So here it happened. So when they not come with enough foolishness, please go learn to do that first. And I rest there.
Okay, so Jordan, can I have a moment?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Jordan. I'm Aisha.
Yeah.
Hi, Futa. Hi, Ingram. Hi, hi, everyone. So, about a year ago.
You should be laughing at any point. It's got some of the comments.
Oh, no, it's all right. So, we have to look at the reasons that these issues are coming up now. So about a year ago, we were talking about smart cities, and I don't hear anyone talking about that again. So a year ago, I told you guys that, well, on another live, that there was a pitch deck for Eco Vista, Jamaica. So Eco Vista is supposed to be a 283-acre smart Caribbean city in Trelawney, Jamaica, right? So when we were talking about it, we didn't know where it was going to be. You know, they have diagrams of the areas, but because this happened, it's becoming very clear to me what the site is, right? So it's by UCC, so the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean. And there was an AIM Future Cities 2025 winner for smart infrastructure. So the site is supposed to be right next to Ocean, Coral Springs, and the Royalton White Sands. I could send you the pitch deck. They already raised $12 million, and the total amount that they want to raise for this site is $31 billion, right?
Mr. It's 15 million.
Excuse me?
The amount you're stating is wrong. It's 15 million, but continue.
Well, I have the pitch deck, and this is from 2025. So I don't know if they raised more money, but I'm looking at the pitch deck.
This is
per the article in the Gleaner.
Okay, I didn't see. Yeah, okay,
where?
thank you.
But where in Trelawney?
So they have the diagram of the site. So I don't know Trelawney, so maybe someone else would be able to, but the area is by Crystal Springs and the Royalton. So it's 283 acres, a parcel within Trelawney. And they've already raised a lot of money for this. So it's supposed to be a smart city. And there's supposed to be a school, there's supposed to be hotels, there's supposed to be, you know, living space. So it's supposed to be 396 million in profit after this development.
What's irrelevant to your conversation? I don't want to know what you're talking about.
They're trying to get the people off the land so they could acquire the land and create this smart city, because they've already, well, I don't care what you have to say. I'm just trying to put two and two together. So where else would they be making a 283 smart city in Trelawney? You have to put the pieces together because you don't know what he's doing. So for this, in my opinion, he needs the people off the land so he could develop this land, because investors from all over the world are already expecting this to happen. The land acquisition should have been done in 2025, so he's already late.
Lady, put on the nightie and go to your bed. You're
Do
not
you
making any sense.
Jim, do you want me to send you the pitch deck? Do you know what a pitch deck is? A pitch deck you put together.
If you put it, what did you say your first name was again?
Aisha.
Lady, put on the nightie and go to your bed.
Come and stop being disrespectful. Isha, do you have any supporting document that such companies even register with COJ?
I'm not Jamaican, so I'm not in Jamaica. I don't understand how the Jamaican system runs. I work in investment banking, so I know how that operates. Okay. So I could send you the pitch deck because I've shared this.
But the pitch deck has, Jordan, is this an intermission? Is this an intermission? Seriously.
Lady, take your psychotic pill and go sleep. You know what you're talking about.
No, common sense. No,
you're so common sense. You have no common sense.
Come on, I'm not going to sit
so
on that
rude.
You're being, don't disrespect the lady like that.
Extreme. I could send it. I could send it to you because a lot of people don't know about this.
Ma'am, have you looked at the 2030 Envision program that is by the World Bank?
This is part of the 2030 plan.
Okay. So if it's in the 2030 plan, it is very unlikely that's majority of the person you're speaking to, especially these seasoned powerhouse bloggers, are not aware of what you're referring to.
They're not aware.
But you're subjectively stating that someone is not aware without acknowledging or even asking the question.
Well,
because I had to correct you in regards to the first seed.
Mm-hmm.
So all right, so hold on. So no, and the truth is that so there's the smart city conversation has been going for some time, because there are people who do believe that yes, there is an effort to build smart cities. And
he would have to acquire a lot of land to do it.
Technically, that is, as in, this is kind of the messed up thing, because a smart city is technically a city that has just as much upgrading to it as possible based on that in comparison to the rest of what is there. So it's not actually a conspiracy, as in they do intend to build a village like,
and it's a global agenda. It's all over the world. They're having smart cities.
But the thing about it is, no, so hold on. So it is the it is. And it's but what happens to it is that yes, you have the truth about it, where there are efforts like that across the Caribbean, across the globe right now. The billionaires and the trillionaires are doing a lot of stuff like that. So they're trying to buy up islands, they're trying to buy up spaces of land that just you really have to question, why would you need that much there? And yes, they're trying to build all of these things in spaces and then have it to be able to travel to for their summers and so on. That's always been the case, and that's always possibly going to be the case. Once we continue to have billionaires and trillionaires, then they will continue to do that. I guess yes, it would have helped a bit though. And this is not really your fault, because you're sharing it from the sources you've gotten, and then you're also, you said. But
Jordan, if she's sharing from the sources she got in 2025 when Jamaica went into the international conference for urban development in China, she'd have had the readout as far as Jamaica's position on it. One of our major lack is water, because you need heavy water for a smart city.
Exactly, and it's on this development. It's on the shoreline.
It's irresponsible for you to come on a platform and speak certain things when Jamaica already has put out their position in regards to that. and one, but
What,
saying
what's
that
the
they're
position?
trying to
What is Jamaica's
acquire land.
position?
Ma'am, first, I would suggest that you revisit the claims that you're making and provide us with some more information. Because if you're going
No,
to
but
come and
hold on,
say
hold
that
on, Marsha, hold
they
on.
want the people off of off of in Trelawney because it's for a smart
Marsha,
city.
hold
By
on, hold on.
tomorrow, somebody's going to click a live and say that.
Yeah, but you see, no, because and we have to be very careful with this. Look, when you're in a time, and it's such a conundrum.
Okay,
We're in
Jordan,
a
you know, a
time
pitch
where
deck goes out to investors
hold
and
on,
they
Aisha, hold on.
invest because of the development that Jamaica says
No.
that it's
Aisha,
going
no,
to make.
I don't think that's questionable. I don't think
Okay,
any of that part is questionable.
all right.
I think everybody would have just wanted the reference specifically to what the information is that you're sharing.
Oh, I
Where it
did.
came
Okay,
from,
so
that
it's
sort of
the
thing, but not
it's
necessarily. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
it's UCC, the group executive chairman. I don't know if you know the names. It's Dr. Winston Adams. The group CIO is Jonathan Chory. The group CFO is Leon Rooms. And the general manager of strategic investments is Owen Ferguson, JP. So you could find this on ecovista.com. And Jordan, let me just send it to you.
So let me find this out. You're saying all of that to say that the movements that is happening in Trelawney at Cooper's or by Cooper's is to allow for.
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it's possible that this is why it's happening because the government actually has to acquire enough land for this development. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you're saying that it's a possibility. I see.
Of environmentally conscious individuals and intellectually astute minds coexist in harmony. The city strategically organized into 4 distinctive zones: tourism, commercial, residential, and institutional, each complemented by sustainable amenities, essential services, and eco-friendly infrastructure, including a solar energy farm, water harvesting, and waste management system. The comprehensive master plan will be executed in 3 phases. Phase 1 is EcoVista's groundbreaking educational and commercial venture, the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, UCC, will introduce the Hilltop residential community, while Phase 3 will focus on the development of hotels inspired by the mangrove ecosystem. EcoVista Jamaica will showcase a globally recognized university town, accommodating students across various faculties, offering innovative academic programs. The forward-thinking university will encompass student residencies, an innovation center of excellence, a STEM center of excellence, and a college of health and medical sciences. Additionally, the town will host international university hubs, providing opportunities for global students. The architectural design of the campus embodies a contemporary, ecologically sensitive tropical style. Using the mangroves as a main theme and concept generator for the design, the various buildings showcase features of the natural context. By incorporating open spaces, courtyards, solar energy generation, and water harvesting techniques, the design promotes an off-grid, low-impact ethos. The utilization of locally sourced natural materials minimizes the environmental footprint and seamlessly integrates with the lush tropical surroundings. The Eco Villa residential community overlooks the Eco Vista Hotel Resort and features luxurious 2-, 3-, and 4-bedroom villas with plunge pools.